we would like to welcome everyone out. Thank you for being here. This is the February 9th, 2026 meeting of the Springdale School Board. At this time, I would like to call Sepacine Francis to the podium. She is our student representative from Springdale High School. She's going to lead us in the pledge and then tell us a little bit about herself. So if you guys will stand and join me in the pledge. Sorry, I kind of rushed you.
You're okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
So, if you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you came from, where you're headed, and then we might ask you a few questions.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Sepacine Francis. I am a senior at Springdale High School. I've attended all Springdale schools my entire life. I went to J.B. Hunt for a few years, and then I transferred to Turnbow Elementary, and then I attended Sonora Middle School, and then Lakeside Junior High before attending Springdale High School. In Springdale High School, I'm a part of the IB program, and I'm also a part of Student Council and Bulldog TV. I actually represent Springdale High School as their student body president. And yeah.
Plans after high school?
I don't know where I'm going yet. I get all my decisions back in March.
Okay.
But for right now, I know I want to go into marketing and social work and try to find a way to promote schools to younger children and adults. Yeah.
Sounds like a position at Springdale Public School.
And you're way over your required volunteer hours, so you have to be volunteering on something you love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you do at your volunteer.
So my sister is actually the operations coordinator at the Marshallese nonprofit downtown, and she's always asking us and my friends to go help kind of lead their groups, especially their youth groups. So I get a lot of my hours from there, but I'm also part of like Key Club and National Honor Society, so I get a lot of my hours from doing community service with them as well.
Very cool.
Do you have a favorite class or a favorite teacher that really had an impact on you?
Well, Mr. Jones is a great principal. He's a great principal.
Did he pay you to say that?
No. But I actually really enjoy the IB program. I feel like the pace is very, it goes well with me because it's like very small classes. I feel like I'm able to really talk with all my teachers, and every single one of them, I feel like I'm able to build a really strong connection with each and every one of them.
So being in the IB program, that's probably why you said earlier you don't get any of your decisions back until March.
Mm-hmm.
You applied to a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
If you could pick one, your dream spot, where would you love to go to school if you had the opportunity?
Well, right now, my number one is Emory. It's in Atlanta, and I really want to join their business program and marketing school.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. You did a great job.
Awesome.
Do you have a parent?
Good luck. All right. Well, Dr. Cleveland, do we have any changes?
Yes, sir. Unless the board has changes, I think we're good. Make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Hutchinson, a second by Mrs. Cook to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to our celebrations and reports. Dr. Cleveland.
Yes, well, as you know, tonight is kind of a bittersweet night in that our own Mr. Kevin Owenby, this is his last official meeting to where he votes. And I've only known Mr. Owenby on the board. I came here a long time ago. I think you started, 15 years ago?
Still good with that?
I don't want you to leave, no, I don't. Not only have you been a very special mentor to me, you've directed the district and been strong and had quality service and provided a sail when the wind was blowing in the right direction and quite frankly a wind block when the wind was blowing in the wrong one. And from my perspective, you've been a quality steward for the district finances, and you've been a steward for me as a personal friend and guide. And I couldn't thank you enough personally, because I feel like I've grown under you in lots of different ways.
Thank you.
You're a gentleman, and you are kind and strong, and you like to win, and lots of things. But that being said, you also are very gracious. People don't know how kind you are when nobody's looking, and except maybe the family. And I think that's why they're so strong and they're so good. But I would like to ask the board if any of you have any special thoughts or comments, because he's your special friend too. Right? I know y'all have had wild conversations, so sometimes agree and sometimes you don't. So.
Well, I just want to say thank you from me, because I came on the board not having any idea what I was doing, and you've been a great leader, a great friend. You ask hard questions when they need to be asked, and you are the biggest advocate for this district, and the love and passion that you've put into this position is really inspirational. And I hope you guys know, like, he has fought for y'all, whether it was asking the hard questions or standing up for better pay, let's do the best we can. I mean, he has been an advocate. And so from me, like Dr. Cleveland, as a friend and as a fellow board member, thank you. We'll miss you.
I don't know what there is left, but they both said it really well. But yeah, I mean, I've been on the board about 8 years, and you've been a role model, a mentor. Like Debbie said, one thing I've always admired about you is your ability to think outside the box, to think critically, to ask hard questions. You're passionate. You stand firm in what you believe in, which is a really good characteristic in anybody, but a board member and a friend for sure. And you're not afraid to wear shorts at any point in time, which I admire about you. You are who you are, and you don't ask for forgiveness for that, and I admire you for that. And it will be big shoes to fill. I'm gonna miss those meetings of your thinking and your questioning, but we will honor you in finding someone that
I know you will.
fill your shoes. And I just thank you for 15 years. My kids go to this school district. My wife works in this school district, and I thank you for looking out for them for the last 15 years.
How to follow that, huh? Well, no, they pretty much hit the nail in the head, and we really appreciate your time. It is a thankless job, and a lot of people don't know we don't get paid for this, right? And I do. The thing I appreciate, like they mentioned, most about you is you do ask the hard questions that sometimes we all don't ask, or maybe don't think the same way, and I think that speaks a lot about you. And thank you very much. It's been a pleasure serving with you.
Not real happy you're leaving. Kind of keep us all on our toes, and you are one of the reasons why I ran for school board. You suggested that I look into it, and that were the first person to ever say that I might enjoy it and that I might be good at it. And 13 years later, I'm thankful for that still. you pushed me, especially when I was president, during a few votes that I was unsure about. You made me grow both as a president and as a board member to see things differently and not to be afraid and not to, to be as cautious as I tend to be. We're grateful for your family that they gave your time, and because we know how much time is given by the family for us to be on the board, and we appreciate that, Holly, and the rest. So enjoy your time on the lake and think of us.
Well, I'm not happy about this either, but I know that this is what's best for you and your family. You're going to get to go hang out with the grandkids, and that's one of the most awesome things ever. As the only guy sitting here that's got more time than you, 20 years on the board now. I didn't know you from Adam when you walked in the door, and I'd never met you before, and I've really enjoyed getting to know you over the last 15 years. Everybody's talking about the hard questions. I attribute that to working for Tyson for 24 years, and the way that your approach is about, being real surgical about your, personnel and that kind of stuff, kind of makes everybody think in a different way and in a good way. So I appreciate that. I'm going to hate that you're not here. You shepherded us through a really tough time on the board, and I'm glad you were here when that all came down, because the other ones of us maybe were too close to that whole thing. So thank you for doing that. So I'm going to miss you.
We can do two things. We can watch a video we put together, and you can speak, or you can speak and then watch the video. I don't know. Miss Obi, which should we do first? You should speak first.
Okay. So humor me for just a minute. I'm sure a lot of you will be glad I quit asking the tough questions. But it was my responsibility to you guys. So anyway, I want to introduce my family. That's my lovely wife, Holly, right there. Stand up. She's been teaching for 35 years. And that's my grandson, Henry. Molly and Anthony Caldera, my daughter Molly, is returning back from a business trip, so they're both not here. This is my son, Zach, and his wife. His wife, Hannah. She's due in April. This is my son-in-law, Adam. My daughter, Meg, her son, Preston, and my granddaughter, Charlotte. And all three of these kids, all three of my kids, including Hannah, are a product of the Springdale school system. Pretty much kindergarten all the way through, so I think they turned out all right. I also want to say it's been an honor of a lifetime to serve on the board. It really has. I married a teacher, and I thought I knew about education. To be honest, I had no idea. Serving created a real purpose and ignited a real connection for me to Springdale and the community. This helped me realize how critically important the school connections are to our city government, local businesses, and industry partners. I do not think you can operate without them. And I've learned that over and over and over for 15 years. I believe the school system actually accurately reflects the heartbeat of the city and the surrounding communities. The Springdale school system is very special. We do extraordinary things. Have we done everything right? Nope. Are we going to do everything right? Nope. But we do a mountain of things that are good that far outweighs any difficulties we come across. I believe we do this by staying focused on the kids. We support our staff. We create opportunities for everybody. Everybody. And we're extremely flexible to meet the changing needs head on every day. As I leave the board, I want to challenge our current board, administration, and patrons of the district. I would love for you to continue to remain focused on our students, staff, and team member safety. I think that's critically important. When making decisions, always weigh the outcome on student, staff, and community benefits. Think out of the box. Ask the hard questions. Challenge our legislators on the status quo. Public education is changing, and we must maintain our leadership role. And never forget, in Springdale, all really means all. Thanks.
Created a little video for you. Hope you like it.
A son of Russellville found a true home in the Dale. He put down his roots and he stayed to serve his call. He and his family raised their own lives here. Thank you, Kevin, for those almost 20 years. From the front of the room to the back of the hall, a volunteer spirit who answered the call. For the sacrifice made and the time that you gave, to 22,000 you paved the way. Oh, thank you, Kevin, for the heart you have shown, for being the leader who never let us stand alone. When the 38-year came to a close, you were the president steady while the pressure rose. Through the shifts and the changes and the weight of the years, thank you for the strength that calmed all our fears. With a student-first heart and a community mind, a leader like you is so hard to find. Thank you for standing when the cost was so high, in the quiet moments when you said goodbye. To the parents who raised you while you still stood tall, to catch every student before they could fall. Through the global crisis and political storms, thank you for keeping us safe in the forms. A servant leader who wouldn't back down, the steadying hand for the whole of this town. You'll see your fingerprints on every new wall, in the plaques and the cornerstones, standing so tall. Thank you for the humor and the truth that you brought, the authentic spirit and the lessons you taught. That no matter your story or where you began, Springdale is the place where you can make a plan. If a child has a dream, Kevin made it a goal. Thank you for the kindness you poured from your soul. He's competitive, sharp, and he plays for the win, because failing a child was always a sin. Thank you for leaving us better than before. As you take your leave and you walk through the door, it's time to step back, let the sun start to set on a service and sacrifice we'll never forget. So thank you for the standards and the bar you set high underneath that big wide Springdale sky. The buildings may weather, the seasons may flee, but thank you, Kevin, for this legacy. Yeah, thank you for it all. The legacy remains.
Well,
All
I
in
didn't see a puddle of tears.
Because that's what I get.
Thank you. I know you probably need to go, but thank you, Mr. Owenby. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
We moved Mr. Owenby up so his babies can be here and go. So hope that's all right with the crowd. Dr. Brado. I'd like to welcome Dr. Brado to the podium.
Good evening, board. I don't know how I'm supposed to follow any of that. So I'm here to just talk to you a little bit about our English learner data trends that we're seeing. I have some graphs and charts and information for all of you, so feel free at any time to ask any questions. So we'll go ahead and get started with our current look at our students. When we look at our students that are served for multilingual services, we have our students that are currently being served for English learner services and those that are monitored. The monitored students are the ones that have already demonstrated full proficiency and they've been exited for services, but we continue to watch them to make sure that they're progressing academically. So you can see our monitored students are approximately 40% of our students, and we currently have about 60% that are in services right now. Our overall number of currently served English learners by year has gone down over the course of the last decade. There have been a couple of different reasons for that. The first reason is we had a shift in our assessments, and the assessments caused us to be able to adjust for what makes proficiency available for students to be exited out of services. And in addition to that, we've also had some adjustments with the State Department with our timelines and how we organize the students that are monitored and how we can reclassify. Everything needs to be finished by October 1, and in the past it had not been that date. So for exit criteria for our students, they of course have to demonstrate proficiency on their ELPA 21 assessment, and then they also have 2 supporting data pieces, and this is evidence that the students are also proficient in language in their content learning. The Department of Education, Arkansas Department of Education, has a specific list of data that we can use for the supporting evidence. And you can see this is our number of students that have exited over time. Since 2013. You can see there's a big bump in 2017. That's the beginning of our new ELPA assessment. So that allowed for a lot of students to be able to meet proficiency because of the new markers that were in place. And you can see that we've grown over time. And our past year, we've had our highest number that we've had exited. It's 920 students that reached full proficiency, and we were able to exit all of those students. And that's due to a lot of work from all of our teams at the building level and coordinating all of our data. So our overall numbers of English learners has really lowered, but that's due to our exiting of higher numbers of students. Our biggest growth that we've had as a district is being able to align our instructional system through our professional learning and our coaching, deepening our overall knowledge of language, and then building a shared data system through all of our CFAs and the work of our CTMs across our schools. We've also had some changes in our overall district numbers, and we've also had some shifts in district demographics. We've had a lot of students entering kindergarten now that are second-generation multilingual students, so they are higher in their proficiency when they're entering school. So that aligns us, all of our practice, to our mission and vision. And our main focus of our mission is to provide responsive, evidence-based support for all of our students and educators. And we aim to actively partner with all of our schools. And our team has done a great job in connecting with all of our buildings across the district. We support through dedicated ELD, which is a specific time at all of our elementary schools, focused on language development. And then we also have specific classes at the secondary level. We also focus on transfer of language to content learning, because at the secondary level, we want to make sure our students are prepared for all their content. We also want to focus on integrated language. We know that language learning doesn't happen just in one small section of the day, so content and language is integrated together to support our language development and acquisition. We've also been able to work with teachers to identify the portability of language throughout the day. We've made everybody kind of come to the realization that the language is the how of learning. And so when we look at how are we having our students demonstrate their learning, it's through language. We also work with our family and community engagement, partnering with all of our buildings to support them with parent nights or other family events that they have. We have our Springdale Family Literacy Program that facilitates English learning for all of our multilingual families. And we connect with our community partners to provide volunteer opportunities in our schools. And we use a way to just work with our schools directly to see how we can support them in that. We also focus a lot of our intentional work on professional development. We have a team of instructional specialists, and they provide responsive professional learning. We do curriculum training, presentations, and coaching, and we do our best to connect all of our departments across the district to align language practices and supports. We have a picture right here. It's very busy, but we have our grades crosswalk document. This is our overall instructional framework, and we've worked really hard with all of our different departments and curriculum to make sure that we have one comprehensive tool to help support everybody, and you can see language as part of that. I pulled a little bit of data just so you could see a quick little capture from 2020 to this current year. Most of the information, when you do a comparison, is relatively the same. However, I would like for you to focus on the last bullet on on that comparison slide. In 2020, we had 75, almost 76% of our secondary students that were being served as multilinguals had already been served for 5 or more years. And our teams, working with our district, across the district with all of our teachers, we've been able to lower that number to 30%. Our goal is eventually to get it to 0, but we're in the right direction. So do any of you have any questions? I've given you a ton of information.
What are some of the top reasons you think that it went from 75 to 30?
That's a great question. I would say we have a couple of different reasons for it. The first would be our systematic approach at the elementary level has really accelerated our students' language growth so that they're able to exit before they finish elementary school. So that when they get to that learning of content in the 6th grade and up, they're already fully proficient in their language and they're able to just add on their content learning. The second could be a small shift in demographics. We've had some students that have just graduated out of our system as well. But I would attribute most of it to our overall trends have been most of the exits at the elementary level. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
There she is. famous science teacher.
Good evening. I'm Cassie Kautzer. I'm your current certified PPC committee chair. And so here to just seek some feedback from y'all about hopefully the upcoming calendar. If I can, I always have trouble. I wanted to share a little bit tonight of kind of everything that goes into forming our calendar, because as we all know, it's one spot where you can't make everybody happy. But our PPC overall and our calendar committee, who has volunteered some extra time, really has tried to take in as much input as we can to come to the best options available for our students, for teachers, and families within the community. So I just shared a little bit. We always have to go through what are the non-negotiables for the year, both from the state and needs at the district level. And then we put a lot of time in this fall to put out another survey to get feedback from teachers and administrators, anybody across the district that wanted to do that. And so had a good number, 776 people that responded, giving us some great feedback. From that, we found that teachers were prioritizing, they really wanted to keep. Their top rated priority was keeping that full 5-day Thanksgiving break. Students and teachers being done before Memorial Day was a priority, matched right along with maximizing our instructional days prior to state testing time, which makes a lot of sense. Other things that came up on that survey are trying to even out our semesters for semester-based classes while keeping in mind that third quarter can have some snow days or inclement weather days in. And then we had made a change, or PPC had over the last couple of years, adding on a change to PD time and conference time, switching out some PD days and adding an extra day of conference time, essentially, where in the fall, all teachers have an extra 3 hours of PD and an extra 3 hours of parent contact time available during the day, and then repeating that again in the spring. And as we sent out feedback for that, just after October, which is the first time that we did that, feedback was resoundingly positive that teachers appreciated that extra time to reach out to families that couldn't otherwise make it easily at night were more accessible. And so we've added that back in and had some feedback on that as well. We also made sure as a calendar committee that we sat down and gathered data about our other 4 major district calendars. We often get questions asking us, why is our calendar so different than the others? And when we sat down and really broke it down and looked, where the 4 big districts are really aligned in their calendar. Some small differences in timing and small differences in teacher contract days and when PD is, but trying to align to that as closely as possible, since we do have staff members with living in other districts or with students attending other schools. And then the last thing that we had to meet about and get some feedback because of the policy committee, or because of the policy change to add in those 3 hours of extra parent contact time in the fall and the spring, that eliminated a PD day, which cut out our January professional development day. So this is the first year, and as many as I could think of, where we didn't have that on the calendar. We went back to our committee in January trying to get some extra feedback, and there definitely are some people that find that PD time very beneficial, but I think in the end they were looking to prioritize that parent contact time. So that's just a little bit of kind of all the things we took into account going into making this year's calendar options. That said, last week, 2 options were emailed out to staff, and you can see the breakdown on the report. I tried to highlight the parts that were most pertinent, but really, we had a different start date, off by 1 date, because we had a lot of staff wanting like a midweek start. A midweek start with our Wednesdays would be really difficult, especially at the elementary level, for young kids trying to get on the bus and get home, so we want to avoid that Wednesday start. But did put a Tuesday start option on there. That changed our end of the year workday and a little bit in when we were starting and ending quarters, but otherwise the calendars really came about and matched up. So after our vote last week, calendar A, which had a Monday start, came out with almost 60% of the vote. I think it was just over 950 teachers out of 1,500 looking at that. Yes.
We're looking at it, just trying to understand the differences in the two.
Absolutely.
So the start date, there's not a ton of differences.
There really are not this year. Nope, it came down, that midweek start has been a priority in teacher asking over the last several years as I've been on PPC. And so we really tried to work with that while at the same time meeting those teacher priorities of still wanting a full Thanksgiving break, but wanting to maximize student class time prior to state testing, so finishing up before Memorial Day to maximize that classroom time, and so we still had to find ways to fit everything in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Was there any discussion around the CAP conferences for secondary being that first week of March? And any concerns?
That is a great question. So conferences, I'll flip back to this one for a minute, were moved forward a little bit, and that was at feedback from teachers asking, why do we keep doing conferences right before spring break? And so as a committee, that was moved up some, but we have now, since the calendar went out, gotten a few questions about CAP conferences. And what I can share is I need more, as a committee, myself and the whole committee, we need some more feedback from secondary teachers because our calendar committee was primarily elementary teachers, I think, that were in on most of that discussion. So that's a great piece of feedback that we could use some more information about and we can take back to the committee and seek out.
So maybe take it back and see about moving it back to the week, back 2 weeks?
Yep, back 1 or 2
Before
weeks.
spring break?
Yep, we absolutely can discuss that as a committee and reach out to our secondary counselors for more information about that too. Any other questions or thoughts or?
So as far as tonight goes, we don't need to vote on these. You're gonna take it back and?
We do not yet.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
we wanted to seek some feedback and hopefully we'll be back to seek your approval next month.
March, okay. Anybody else? Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Appreciate your time here, and again, Mr. Owenby, your service. So this month is CTE Recognition Month, and I'm not going to talk very long about this. We've got some excellent teachers and students that are going to be recognized. And we're going to highlight tonight on our clubs, so our CTSO, our organizations that really do a lot with student leadership. They go and practice in different contests. They do a lot with the community. So we've got some outstanding teachers here from HAR-BER. Miss Tessa Bunch is going to come up and introduce her students, and then Mr. Ryan Kelly in the back from DTSOI, and they'll talk about their clubs and let you get a quick overview of that from the students. And Miss Bunch also, I believe, has an informational piece for you that she'll distribute to you. So without further ado, I'm going to have Miss Bunch come up and get us started.
Luckily, I wasn't planning on talking tonight, and I brought them to do all the talking. But as Ureli hands out the handout, or Ureli and Carly, they're going to leave behind a small gift from us, and then we have a CTE and CTSO handout that gives you a little bit of a peek inside career and technical education currently at HAR-BER High School. But I brought student leaders from 3 different organizations with me tonight. These ladies in the red blazers are here on behalf of Family and Consumer Science and Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. And I have a HOSA representative and an FFA representative with me. And so I'm going to let them tell you all about our programs and what we're up to this year at HAR-BER and looking forward to next year. But thank you for your time. Thank you for your leadership. It's great to bring students and let them see what happens in this building. We should bring students every month, honestly. But thank you. I'm going to turn it over to them.
Good morning, members of the board, administrators, and guests. My name is Carly Phillips, and I'm proud to represent FCCLA, Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, and Family Consumer Science Education. But I'm also here speaking on behalf of all career and technical education students at HAR-BER High School in honor of National CTE Month. CTE is where learning comes to life. Across the HAR-BER campus, CTSOs like FCCLA, HOSA, FFA, and DECA are embedded directly into our classes, giving students real opportunities to apply what we learn, lead others, and build skills that matter beyond high school. In FCCLA, students don't just learn about family sciences, we practice leadership, career readiness, and growth through service to others. With over 475 students enrolled in FCS-related pathways in pre-education, nutrition science and dietetics, and with fashion and housing design returning next year, FCS courses enrich the high school experience and help students find confidence, purpose, and direction. Through competitive events, leadership roles, and service projects, students gain communication skills, teamwork, and professionalism, the kind of durable skills that employers and colleges are seeking. Many of us step into rooms knowing our voices matter because CTE gives us the chance to practice using them. My partner Ureli and I earned gold using our voices as public policy advocates for our FCCLA STAR event, and we continue to work to promote FCS and career technical education as we take our project on to the next level at state competition. CTE doesn't just prepare us for a diploma, it prepares us for careers, leadership, and life.
Tell us a little bit about your project.
Yes, so our project was we were supposed to find an issue that connected with us and find ways to advocate for it and on a local level or a state level. So we chose family consumer sciences as our subject to advocate for. And basically we wanted to see how leaders around the Springdale School District or around high schools felt about implementing FACTS classes into middle schools and starting family consumer science standards for 6th graders or 7th graders before they get to the junior high level, focusing on seeing how kids would react to getting that information sooner and learning about things like cooking and sewing and family dynamics early on. We felt like that would be really, really useful for kids to start learning about earlier. So we spoke with middle school principals and got advice from other CTE leaders around the district to see how that would work, to see if that would be something that we could implement possibly in the future.
Great job.
Cookies are good.
Hi, I'm Mia Kaur. I represent HOSA, the Club of Future Health Professionals. HOSA is aligned with our health science program and supports students who are exploring careers in healthcare, which is one of the most in-demand fields in our state and country. At HAR-BER, over 500 students are enrolled in health science. Starting as early as junior high, our healthcare service pathways, including concurrent credit options, so like college classes. Through HOSA, students don't just learn about health, we connect with it firsthand. Our members and advisors have built partnerships with UAMS, and Arkansas Children's Hospital with other local healthcare organizations. And we also connect with other partnerships like hosting blood drives at our school. Some students are already serving as junior volunteers at AHCH, and others have toured a medical school. HOSA gives students early exposure to real careers, professional expectations, and the responsibility that comes with serving others. It helps students confirm their career paths and discover new ones. Personally, I have decided to pursue a career in speech pathology, and that's what makes CTE powerful. Students graduate with clarity and experience, not just credits.
Any questions? Thank you. Great job.
Hi, my name is Adeline Hanning, and I'm honored to represent FFA. FFA is an intracurricular within agriculture education, which focuses on leadership, career development, and hands-on learning in agriculture, science, and industry. At HAR-BER, we have over 400 students enrolled in agricultural educations with pathways in animal systems and plant system classes. Through FFA, students turn classroom knowledge into action through supervised agricultural experiences, competitions, grants, and workforce placements. Our members, myself included, have earned state and national recognition, including grant awards, national finalist, and students currently working on local career practicums. These experiences have helped students build responsibility, problem-solving skills, and strong work ethics. Across all CTSOs at HAR-BER, over 375 students are active members, and thousands more, sorry guys, I'm trying. Thousands more are impacted through CTE pathways in business, health, agriculture, technology, and media creation. CTE works because it's relevant, rigorous, and real. It connects students to careers, communities, and confidence. Thank you guys for your time and supporting our programs that help students not just graduate, but thrive.
Great job. Family, parents, moms, dads, anybody here with you? Family? No? Okay. You're all old enough to drive on your own. Rodney, do you have anything else?
Yeah, we got Mr. Kelly, so we got one more club we're going to highlight real quickly.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having us. My name's Ryan Kelly. I'm the high school engineering teacher at Don Tyson School of Innovation. I'm also the chapter advisor for the Technology Student Association that we just started this year. I'm going to let some of our members here tell you more about what we do, but I do want to thank you for your support of the CTE programs and student organizations in the district. And with that, I'll hand it off to Jackson, our chapter president.
Hello, my name is Jackson Shellhammer. I'm the chapter president at DTSOI.
My name is Jackson Baird, and I am our chapter's vice president.
My name is Darn Patel, and I am a member of TSA. A little about what TSA is. Technology Students Association is a CTSO trying to get high school and middle school students into STEM-related activities. So they provide competition at a state and national level in a wide variety of competitions from design to AV Tech and Film and debate, and anything in between. And they try to prepare students to get more prepared for college and career related to STEM activities.
Some of the benefits of TSA are that it builds great leadership and communication skills, and it also helps us to learn more about STEM careers, as well as let us do lots of STEM activities. And we also get to compete in the state competitions, which I think will be pretty fun when we get to do it.
This is our first year of having the TSA chapter in DTSOI, and in October, we went to our leadership conference where we learned a lot more about what TSA is and how to lead it better. So far, we have acquired 3 sponsors, and here in March, we are preparing to go to the TSA conference where we will be competing in a variety of different competitions. Thank you.
Where's the competition at?
It should be in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and the leadership conference was in Little Rock, Arkansas. Finally, we'd like to thank you for your continued support of CTEs and CTSOs in general in the Springdale School District area. And if you have any questions, we would be happy to answer them.
How many teams will go compete?
Schools around Arkansas.
Well, at SOI, from SOI.
Oh, we're sending 7 students to the Arkansas, to the state. Yeah.
How many students are in your first year organization?
We have around 15 students.
How many?
15.
15? Okay.
Very cool. Awesome. Good job.
Thank you, board. Just to give you another perspective of what we do in CTE, excellent teachers, excellent student leadership as we're grooming young leaders, and also they tie into our community. So we're glad to highlight these students and these excellent CTE instructors that we have, and we appreciate them bringing them tonight.
Thank you.
We'll step outside and get a picture. Mr. Kelly, if you want to bring your students, we'll get a picture.
Good job.
We'll take care of those.
Thank you.
Over here. No, she left them with me.
We really should pass that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those. I can get into them. Gotta be smarter than the boss. There we go.
Good evening, school board and Dr. Cleveland. My name is Valerie Hanna. I'm the president of the Springdale Education Association and also an educator here in Springdale. So last month, I had the privilege of being selected by the National Education Association to go to Washington, D.C. and speak about what hunger looks like for our students and why cutting SNAP benefits is bad. I sat on a panel at Capitol Hill with nutritionists, school cafeteria managers, and a SNAP benefits coordinator for the state of Maine. And the room was filled with congressional lobbyists and their aides. And I was amazed at how respectful the situation, like, in the room was, and how the questioning was very engaging. I was also able to meet with Congressman Womack's aides and discuss my thoughts as his constituent. I was a little disappointed that at the time the congressman was unavailable, so I was just able to meet with two of his aides, one of which turns out back in the day, before he decided politics was his thing, actually substituted in Elmdale, where I currently teach. So, I mean, obviously they are from Arkansas since it's our congressman, but it was just kind of funny. He's like, "Where do you work?" I said, "Elmdale." He's like, "I subbed there once." I'm like, "Okay." So apparently, though, as far as the congressman not being available, fate kind of had other plans, because as I was standing in the airport the night before the blizzard came in D.C. waiting to come home, guess who should walk up? But Congressman Womack, who was on the same nonstop flight coming back home. And I sat there for a little while, and I kept trying to catch his aide's eye, thinking, all right, if I approach him, is that acceptable? Am I going to get arrested? Am I going to get thrown in jail? And, obviously not things that are actually going to happen, but also if, you're not at work, you don't always want somebody to walk up to you and talk about work. But I did decide after about 20 minutes of going back and forth to make sure I came from a distance where they could see me coming towards them so I didn't jump scare anybody, and had a very nice conversation with the congressman. And hopefully, in a couple of weeks when he gets back to DC, that he'll actually look at those notes that I spoke with his aides about, and maybe it makes a positive difference for our students. So many of our members at SEA were very proud to support our students for exercising their voices and engaging in civic expression during last week's walkouts. Multiple educators reached out with questions about participation, and we encouraged them to act in good faith to support their students to ensure their safety. We have seen fellow students, fellow educators, and even our district being subject to negative and concerning commentary online. This has created an unsettling situation for all of those involved. Students and educators should not face adverse actions for decisions made in the best interest of the student safety and well-being. Springdale admin and our school board has consistently shown that they have our backs, which is reassuring and comforting given the current circumstances. More than anything, we are just seeking clear parameters so that our members and all educators in Springdale understand the expectations on how to best care for our students. Creating a school climate that is rooted in safety and belonging is essential for students to learn at high levels. Yet it becomes challenging for the educators when we are unsure about how to address the very issues that students are raising and asking us directly. Likewise, ensuring student safety is difficult for an educators when we ourselves feel unsure and unsafe. That was a lot. I appreciate everything you do. Appreciate Mr. Owenby. And we know that things can get difficult, but what I learned from my trip to DC is that even the hard things can actually be kind of fun. And I hope that even through the hard times, we all will still stay together and have each other's backs. So, thank you.
All right, so that brings us to our patron comments. Before we move forward with patron comments, I will read our rules and guidance on how this will go. We do have 2 patrons that have signed up. By signing in and speaking before the board, you agree that no item will be discussed that would operate to prejudice the board concerning a student or personnel matter that could come before the board for disciplinary or employment considerations, or that is in conflict with other district policy or law. Please do not use any student or personnel names. You understand the board will not respond during the meeting. Failure to abide by this agreement will forfeit your right to speak before the board. You will have 3 minutes. At the end of that 3 minutes, your time will be up. We'll ask you to take your seat. We cannot hear student or personnel specific information as a reminder. So first up, we have Mr. Robert Lee.
Good evening, board. Pleased to be here, and there was an incident last week, and it's going to need to be addressed community-wide. Student walkouts, accountability, and public safety. I bring a business acumen to this aspect. Good evening. My name is Robert Lorenzo Melito Lee. I am here as a taxpayer and community member. This is not a political statement. It is a governance, safety, and educational stewardship concern. Students have First Amendment rights, including peaceful assembly. Schools are legally permitted to enforce reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions during instructional hours. When students leave class during the school day, that is truancy. An unexcused absence alone does not deter repeated behavior. This creates lost instructional time, staff division, safety risks, and liability exposure. Civic engagement should be encouraged, but outside instructional hours without blocking traffic or violating ordinances. If walkouts are being materially organized by outside groups or school-affiliated personnel during paid time, that raises governance and ethics concerns. I ask the board to adopt stronger content-neutral accountability measures to protect students, taxpayers, and the district. Since I don't have a lot of time, one final point, the Springdale Police Department has stated that organized assemblies or protests require coordination so they can ensure safety and lawful conduct. To my knowledge, that coordination might not have occurred here. When students leave campus during instructional hours and engage in organized activity without coordination, the issue moves beyond school policy into public safety, city ordinances, and liability. I ask the board to address this governance and safety matter, not a political one, and to set clear, enforceable boundaries so civic engagement remains lawful, peaceful, and outside instructional time. This is something that I think we need to have on next month's agenda. I offer solutions, 47 years in business, 20 independently. and I've been a resident of Springdale since July of '93. My wife and I moved here. This is our home. Last year around March, lost her after being together 43 years to a heart issue. Subsequently shut down my 2 restaurants in the area. Moved my personal life ahead about 5-6 years. This is where people need to be, helping the community. The community helped us for so long. I appreciate your time and consideration. Y'all have a super night. And I believe you got the handouts, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. And next up, I have Mr. Brett Ralston.
And start. Dr. Cleveland, President Emerson, and board, I want to thank you for the wonderful job you did. I think you made a really quick and efficient statement regarding the walkout that happened on February the 3rd, the Tuesday. I think, and I pray that it quelled a lot of fears that were in the area, because we all agree that the students have a right to protest. The question is, was it done in the right way? So there's always a right way, and there's always a wrong way to do things. And I think we can discern just from what happened, the kind of chaos that involved the lack of information, who knew what, who was doing what, who started it, who organized it. Were all those things correctly related to the police, as they require a 72-hour notice? Were they given to you, Dr. Cleveland? Were they given to the board? Were they given to the principals? To the junior highs that participated in this, to the principals, were they aware? Because we want to keep and it's all right for them to be aware, but you should have been made aware of those pending walkouts that happened on the 3rd, because they were all throughout the city. And it all of a sudden on social media, like the young lady said, there were a lot of concerns that were on there, some validated and some not valid. But at the same time, when there's fears, there's chaos. And there was chaos that day. There was disruption in the schools. There were some students that didn't want to participate. Other students that participated because they had a deep-rooted feeling about this issue. And then there were some students that participated that just did it because of the peer pressure. But certainly, I don't know what time it happened at all the various schools, but there was disruption that occurred in those schools, and that's something that none of us want. Also, if you look at it, February 3rd was the most vulnerable that the Springdale School District has ever faced as far as a safety issue. With all of that disruption, with students coming and going, with doors being open, with students in cars and vehicles, there was no way to keep our schools safe that day. The police was busy about, trying to direct traffic, but that would have been and I even hate to speak this out loud, but we've seen the violent activities that have gone around in schools throughout our nation. That would have been a key point. And if this were to be broadcast before, if it happened during school, you're going to see people try to take advantage of that have very violent tendencies within our school. You have an obligation to make sure that these protests don't happen during school hours. They should happen before, after, weekends. Get after it, kids. Protest all you want.
Not going to miss that. 3 minutes over. Okay. That brings us to our consent agenda. Do we have any questions around the consent agenda? Board?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. A motion by Mrs. Creek and a second by Mr. Ramos to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Ms. Hopkins. Yeah. Motion for the consent agenda. Yep. Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Good evening.
Ms. Hopkins, you want to wait just a minute?
The call is supposed to be coming in later. HAR-BER students wear bracelet shirts to school. You don't want to address that.
Thank you. The first item on my section of the agenda is to seek approval of the January financial statements. Those were provided in your packet. I just wanted to point out just a few things. We are lagging just a little bit when you look at it as a percentage of collections of our revenues. However, we're still about 5.5 million ahead of the same time where we were last year. So as you know, the next couple of months are the lowest collection months for taxes. So we'll see those numbers be very low for February and March as well. And then we'll see a tick back up as that starts coming back in again. On our expenditures, we're holding tight where we would expect to be this time of year. And so it's pretty standard for the month of January. Are there any questions on the financial statement?
Make a motion to approve financial report.
Second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Hutchinson and a second by Mr. Ownby to approve the January 2026 financial statement. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. The second item on my section is to seek approval from the board to do business with Joanna Vaughn. She is an employee of the district and would like to have approval to do sale of t-shirts and sweatshirts and some decals. She provides custom printed apparel. It's available in small quantities at competitive prices for expedited delivery. And so budget constraints necessitate purchasing services at competitive prices. So this would be a contract available to her February 10th, 2026 to February 9th of 2028.
Make a motion to approve the related party transaction for Ms. Joanna Vaughn. A motion by Mr. Ramos and a second by Mrs. Cook to approve the related party transaction for Joanna Vaughn. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, at this time we will go into executive session for personnel.
Please use it.
Elvis is getting ready to leave the building.
That meeting is adjourned.